You're tuned into Artgoon Radio, brought to you by UTB Worldwide. Download our app, available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. It's just a lifestyle. Don't trip.
It's the man with the plan. I ain't Clark Kent, but some of the ladies do call me Superman. It's your boy, Big Cali.
We're Artgoon, two-step shawty.
It's your boy, Momo the Great.
And it's Artgoon Radio, man. Feeling good, feeling great. Another one. Coach K still looking for his hat. Can't forget that. So, he can't be with us for this one.
Nah, he couldn't make it. You got to find the hat. It's more important.
The hat is somewhere to be found. So let's just all look for that hat. It's very little, it's small. Okay, anyway. We're bringing in you another one, man. We got a very special episode today. Very special guest that we met. Actually, this young lady we met on tour while in Minnesota. She showed us her city, showed us around, took us to some of the bars out there, and we really always kept in contact. She was just one of our distant UTB family that was on the other side of the country. We always hit her up every time she's in Cali. We met at Camp Flogna. Every time we always linked up. But I hit her up because I seen a video of her getting arrested in front of her house. Now, she is not a criminal. I know criminals. I know a lot of people who are crooked. She's probably one of the most sweetest, nicest people you'll ever meet. Give you the shirt off her back. Like last dot, like one of them kind of just good people. And literally, she was getting arrested in front of her house. And I was like, oh my God, what is she like? What the hell's going on? And it was because of the social injustice and stuff that's going on and just backlash and everything going on in Minnesota because of, the murder of George Floyd. So I hit her up, was like, hey, man, I would love for you to come on the show and just literally tell us about what's been going on in Minnesota from day when George Floyd died and on. Like what have you been I'm sure it ain't like Minnesota ain't home like it is.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely calmed down. I'll say that much. Well, aside from they just tore down today the Columbus statue out at the Capitol. So, I mean, I guess they're still going.
Oh, that was in Minnesota?
Well, they did it somewhere else first, wherever the other one was. And then Minnesota was like, oh, we should probably do that too. And then they did it as well. So that happened today, which is funny because earlier in the day, I was actually listening to NPR and they were talking about how they were discussing how to remove it. And then like a couple hours later, they just ripped that shit down.
Couldn't take it.
No.
So is that the one that got beheaded, or that's the one that it got
No, they didn't behead that one as far as I know. It just got like ripped off of its platform.
Damn, I just picture one beheaded. It was crazy.
They're doing everything.
They had to get a saw, or what'd they do? They had a saw or an axe or what?
I think they might have just took it with like a sledgehammer. Just
I
Triple
was
H.
gonna say they would have had to use like a power tool or something.
You said just Triple H shit?
That's fucking crazy.
So, from what I'm hearing, when George Floyd actually got murdered, it happened months ago, or it happened like a month or two ago. Or did it happen like right then and there?
No, it happened on Memorial Day. So it's been what?
Damn, I didn't know that.
2 weeks? Yeah, it happened on May 25th. Yeah, it was on May 25th. And then
recap that day for us, man. Like from what you remember.
So I didn't hear anything that day. I heard about it next morning, and I saw the video, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's super fucked up." I was like, "What did I just watch?" Like, because that video was circulating, and then at that point, the police had already been fired, or let go, or whatever, because that video had gotten out. And then there was a protest that night, because obviously they, everybody wanted these people to be arrested, which they weren't arrested. They were just let go from their jobs, which is any other person in the world. If that was you and them on camera, you'd be in jail immediately. You wouldn't get to go home and hang out.
How about this? You might be in jail just for being there.
Exactly. Yeah, like just because it's probable cause, so they can do whatever they want. They would be able to hold you for at least 36 hours or something like that, without like reason. before even charging you. So, but they didn't do that to him. So that night there was a protest. Protests led into the first looting, which happened at the liquor store across the street from the precinct where Derek Chauvin worked at. And then that's kind of where just all just manifested from there. It was like a continuing upward hill of just like chaos just unveiling from everywhere because people were pissed about what was happening and not happening at the same time.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, the next day it led to like looting, more protests, like all over the city, like protests in different parts of the city, not just Minneapolis. Like they had protests outside of the attorney's house who was going to be, you know, taking on his case. They had protest outside of his house, which was the first protest I went to was on that Wednesday because I didn't go on that Tuesday night, but I had friends that went. So I went to Derek Chauvin's house first while he was still there and hadn't been arrested yet. And so it wasn't like, it was before they had the National Guard there, like everything like that. Like they had maybe like 10, 12 cops there when I was there.
Was Derek Chauvin the one that actually killed him?
Yeah. He's the one in the video with his knee on his neck.
Wow.
So then on Wednesday, it's crazy because I went over to the precinct later that day and it was still standing, you know, like, you know, they were on top of the roof, freaking firing rubber bullets at people, firing flashbangs, doing the whole shebang. People have their arms in the air screaming, you know, hands up, don't shoot, you know, say his name, George Floyd, like you name it, like very peaceful.
Right.
It became not peaceful though on their behalf when they started to just tear gas everybody. Like I don't think I've been tear gassed that many times, like in one location for doing nothing. Like
I was just
it'll never happen again.
Peacefully protesting.
Yeah, I mean,
not causing a ruckus, not nothing.
Like we were in front of the police station protesting, like peacefully. There was looting happening all around us, don't get me wrong, but we were in the middle of an intersection and the looting was going on like, it wasn't happening right there. Right. So it's not like, here's the funny thing though, like everybody that was looting from Target, they were bringing over like the flat screens and like the bins and everything to make a barrier against the wall that the police station put up.
Wow.
So that they couldn't get shot with the bullets anymore.
So they were using it as shields, basically.
Yes. They were stealing things from the Target to use as shields. That's kind of like in your face, we don't actually want this shit. We're just doing this because we're pissed.
Wow. That's a common I would say misunderstanding from what I've seen.
Yeah. They don't tell you that on, you know, the TV that a lot of these people weren't taking the things. They were like wheeling them over in carts and like using them as shields so that the police couldn't come through and just like, you know, ram people consistently because that's what they were doing the night before, where they would like start to charge you. And it's like once you took away all that space, like they couldn't do anything. They were kind of left defenseless.
Was it? I don't know. Sorry if I'm over talking to you.
Oh no, it's fine. I feel like I'm over talking because
but
I'm trying to paint a picture so that you guys can actually like hear what it was like, but be able to see it in your head.
Yeah, because on the TV screen it looked horrific, but it looked almost like very resemblance of like the older times of like Selma and like the Rodney Kings and the Watts riots and everything.
Everybody that I was around was very chill. That night, at least. So then later on, I like left for a few hours because after getting tear gassed, you know, 3 times in a row, I was like, okay, I need to give my eyes a break. I'm gonna go home, eat something, come back. In the time that I left, which was only like 45 minutes, and went back, the police station was on fire.
Oh,
they started the police station on fire to the point where the police that were on top of the building had to be airlifted out because they
I
couldn't
saw
get
that
out.
I saw that on MSNBC.
Yeah,
they were showing it.
So I like went back and I was just like, oh my God, I'm like, this is insane. I was like, I saw that AutoZone when it wasn't on fire. I saw that police station when it wasn't on fire. Like I have pictures of them just like, you know, as like still standing, like really fucked up, but like now they ain't there no more. And like just like people making like new barriers in the streets so like the cops can't ram through that one, like just like fires building, like chaos, like people just like literally like I think my favorite thing to see was like people going down the streets with like carts, and in the carts you would see like things for their kids and like just people grocery shopping, and it's just like people are actually out here buying like normal stuff, like things they need maybe that they can't afford, like, you know, so it's not like, or like they're gonna share it with their neighbors or whatever, so it's like it's not like they're out here
Kind of
buying
brought the community
like
together in a way.
it's like they're not getting impractical things, they're getting things they need, like maybe things that they haven't been able to afford to buy themselves in a while, like especially right now. Like I mean we were inside for the last like 3 months. I mean a lot of people didn't get any money during that time, so
yeah, I seen people like with just carts full of like meat and like different food, like
like
do
people
you
are
know
out,
a lot of the looting people are grabbing stuff and bringing it like water bottles and stuff for people to
yeah, exactly. People were taking the looted stuff from Target to set up medic tents for the people that were getting hit with rubber bullets and the tear gas and everything, or like injured in other ways, and treating them with these things that they took from Target and Cub and Aldi, because it was stuff that we needed to like keep going.
Yeah,
like they were just set up everywhere.
It's crazy because like I had protested out here and it was peaceful, but like every protest I've been to or any of my friends have been to, like every time the cops have been the aggressive. We were really chilling, like just outside. People were trying to talk. Somebody was having a conversation with the cop. He was like telling them how disgusted he was with what was going on, and he literally gave the rest of the team the okay to charge at us. So like we're all trying to hear him, and then like 3 seconds later, we're all getting charged at by like a SWAT team with 30. It was crazy. And then once you kind of separate, it's kind of hard to bring
it's hard to get
together and keep that same energy. It's wild.
I mean, I had it happen a couple times like that, but I'll get to that later. But so then Thursday was like a similar kind of thing. You know, people were all over looting, except for that. At that point, they have moved. So on that Wednesday, they also started to move further down Lake Street, like further down into like towards, I guess, more like businesses and just like more down one of the main roads. So then they were just taking over more buildings than whatever. Everybody was just grabbing what they could, you know, just literally expressing how they feel, like is the best way to say it. Like this is just, you know, everybody's pissed. That's how they're showing it. But then on Friday, when Thursday, everybody had moved to St. Paul. So they took the light rails, so they took our Metro Transit system, and everybody was like, oh, everybody's headed to St. Paul. So then everybody's
St. Paul from
so it's the Twin Cities, so it's like Minneapolis, and then St. Paul is technically the capital. So they're right next to each other. Like you can, it's like 10 minutes from my house by car. And then I hit the St. Paul border. But the area that they were in is maybe like 20 minutes from my house, and it's like another main stretch, but they have like Targets over there, Foot Locker, T-Mobile, like it's a big shopping area. You name it, they got it. So then everybody was there looting, but it was like daytime. Like I'm talking like it's 12 p.m. I'm outside just standing, looking around like we're doing this. Okay, cool. And then just continuing on with my time, doing whatever I was doing at that point. I'm not going to say I was or wasn't participating. That doesn't matter. But I was having a great time regardless of what I was doing. It was really weird watching cops just watch everybody run around with everything and not do anything. That was really weird because you'd look like people would look at them and be like, are they going to chase us? Or are they just going to block traffic? And they didn't do anything. They just stayed in their cars, like, because there was nothing that they really could do.
Yeah.
There's too many people. So, they're but essentially like outnumbered by
Right.
who knows how many. But so that was really interesting to see during the day because I'd only seen everybody doing it at night before. So, and like these buildings were on fire during this time too. So like people are just running in and out of them. Like there's smoke going.
Wait
like,
a minute. So
sprinklers are going off.
it's
like
going buildings on fire, sprinklers.
Yeah.
A war
people
zone
are just like,
wow.
People are just like, I got to get these things. Like it looks like you're like the building got bombed. Like that's how it looks when you go in there. And you're like, okay, there's things everywhere. Like everything, half the shit's knocked over, half of it's not. Like
I saw you when you had that on your videos on your Instagram.
Yeah.
You were showing it. It was like flooded in there. And
yeah. Some of the places were flooded. Some of them weren't. Like it's just crazy. And but the cops never went to any of those locations. They would never show up because they were too busy like holding down other areas, I guess. So like
so they were just letting
the chance of like there was really nothing they could do. Like at the 3rd precinct, they couldn't do anything because they were trying to hold down the precinct. So they were like, all right, well, peace out to all these businesses. And then eventually they had to give up that too. And then I don't know where they went from there. They probably went to go shoot bullets at protesters somewhere. So
that's crazy. So like, when was it that you got to the place where your house and you got an interaction with the police?
So that was after. So on Friday night, I started after going out because it started getting closer and closer to my house. So at that point, I was like, okay, shit, like it's getting pretty close to my house. Like people are starting to burn garbage cans in residential areas. Another police station got like somewhat taken over, the 5th precinct. They like, that's when it was like starting to get like really crazy. And I was like, okay. That was also the weekend that they started talking about white supremacists, the KKK, everybody come into town. So it was getting like really insane here. Like you had multiple enemies that like you really felt like you were watching out for at that point. So I started watching like the area with my neighbors around our house, like, and around the block with everybody that lives in this building. And then like 3 more buildings that are next door to me. So we all knew each other. We all knew what we were doing. And then we started doing that on Friday night and just kind of going from there. Before that, I had never met any of these people, I'd like to say. So
wow.
That in itself, that like this thing, like the death of George Floyd, which has in turn, in my opinion, started a revolution, like has made it so that I met all these people that I never knew before. I've been living in this building for almost 2 years. And I'm like a little bit of a loner, but not really. Like I don't communicate with people if I don't need to. And I needed to at this point. And now I know more people than I would have ever probably known in this area had none of this ever happened. And honestly, I'm a little thankful for that because if it wasn't for them, like I probably would have went to jail. So I am very thankful that I've met all the people that I've met over the past like week and a half, 2 weeks now. So then after that, Monday night rolls around. At this point, I'd already gotten chased down the street by a mysterious car by who we assume were the some Proud Boys that were chasing me and 2 of my friends. That happened like 2 days before that. We got chased after being followed on our bikes. And we had to like run into the back door of my house because we like noticed that they were following us. And then they sped up around this corner and then ended up going back across really slow past our door because they saw where we ran inside. So at that point, we were like, okay, fuck this. Like we had to start watching the house. So then we're doing that. And, we have a few encounters with people that are walking by, like that just don't live here. Like we're really pressing people that like walk by the house. Like, we know you don't live here. Like you stand out like a sore thumb. Like, where are you going? What is your purpose here? Really questioning people. And a lot of people get uncomfortable. They don't say anything or they have an answer and it just doesn't work. Like this one person we asked, we're like, what are you doing here? it's 1 a.m. Why are you walking around when there's a curfew? Because we had a curfew at that point already, and curfew had started at 8 p.m. So there was no reason for him and his friend to be out walking around with these big ass backpacks. Like, they did not look like they were homeless. They did not, they just looked like they were not from here. And they're just like, oh, our hotel's an hour away, but like our car is like, has like, it's dead or something like that, or it has a flat tire. And we're like, why is your hotel an hour away? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why could you not get a hotel closer than that? Like, it just didn't make any sense. And so then they continued on, and we saw them a few more times. And like every time we saw them, we would like, make them know that we saw them. So nothing ever happened with them, but because I think we all scared them away because they knew that they were being watched. We stopped multiple people from going into the Walgreens and like restarting it on fire during that time, because that thing, the alarm was going off for like 5 days. And I live kitty corner to it, so I would hear that shit the entire time. Like, it was just high pitched. That thing was on fire for like 3 days. Nobody came and did anything. And like, that's why we were sitting outside too. We're like, let's make sure that like once they put it out, like nobody goes back and sets it on fire.
Yeah, because if no fire departments or no police or anything,
nobody was responding.
Put it out. Those responding to anything over there, if someone busts into your house,
they're not coming. That's it. Like, I wouldn't call them anyways. I wouldn't feel comfortable. Like,
that's great. That's where we're at right now in society.
So then Monday night rolls around, and like a few hours before this incident occurred, our friend was leaving our house, and he was like, hey, we need look outside. There's some sketchy van with no license plates, because that's what a lot of them have. It was either no license plates or out of state license plates. So like we were seeing like a tremendous increase of that over time, like because that's what people from out of state were showing up in, and like, or they would be switching license plates out. So like we even saw a couple that was like a different, like New York one in front, Wisconsin and back. What? Yeah, like it was crazy. Like I have videos of some of these cars, and I'm just like, what? Like where are you actually from? Like you're clearly not from here, and you're.
So you feel like just a side note, you feel like those could have been planet people or planet things to maybe ignite things, or because I've been hearing that.
It could have been. It could have been that. It could have been people coming from out of state because they were trying to keep order in our state. Like there were so many like people that were like from the KKK coming up here that were like, you just seemed riding up and down the street like Thursday, like the biggest flags you've ever seen just trailing off of the back of their trucks. Like not from here at all, like coming from the sticks. Like just because they think that there's going to be chaos ensuing. Like the north side during this entire time, which they also don't tell you about, was like literally a battle zone, because that's where a lot of the white supremacists would go. Like, yeah, like I would be able to look, like I was looking it up on this app I have on my phone, like every single night, like it would be like every few hours, like you'd see at least, a handful of shootings within an hour. Like, and they didn't report on any of that. They would be like, oh, things are starting to calm down. No, nothing was calming down. Like it was more insane than ever. But so then Monday rolls around.
Is the north side a more poverty area? Or like what's different about the north?
Yes, it is. That would be, it's more, there's more poverty over there. There's a lot of like low income housing.
Got you.
The businesses are like a lot of people,
but they didn't show that on the news
are boarded up and
at
stuff
all.
Like that.
They didn't show none of
they
that
don't
at
show
all.
that. They don't. They only show like the popular areas because the destination spots, and it's like the people that are pissed about those areas don't live here. So why does it matter? Like you drive into the city to work. You don't actually live here, so you shouldn't get upset about what you're seeing. But so me and my friends were sitting outside, curfew had at that point got switched to, you had to be in by 10 p.m. And they had changed it so that you could actually be on your porch though. They had to because a couple days previous to that, the National Guard shot at people on their porch. into their house with rubber bullets, and that was caught on camera. So they had to like go change their wording for the curfew to where it says if they tell you to go inside, you have to go inside. Well, that night, like just like every other night, we're sitting on the porch. I'm recording everything as I would always record their like Humvee units going by every single night, multiple times a night. They would even wave at us at times, but I don't know what it was about that night. It just felt different when they were going by. Like they just looked at us like a little weird, where like it just felt off. And I was like, okay, but I ignored it. And then the next thing I know, I looked to my right because they must have gone like around the block and circled back. And my friend's like, oh shit, they're back. And then I'm just like, oh yeah. And like, I don't run or react or anything because why? I'm not doing anything wrong. Why would I have any reason to react to a cop being right there if I'm not doing anything? So all of a sudden the lights on the top of the cop car turn on. They all come zooming around the corner. Like he runs in my front door and because I live in an apartment building. So he runs through the first glass door and we had it propped open with a garbage can so we could just push it open. I didn't need keys for that. I live there. Why would I need my keys? Yeah. Then I go through the second door and that's where you would actually see the apartment building or the apartments separated. So I'm touching my doorknob at this point with my right hand. And the next thing I know is my left arm is I'm being yanked out of my house. Like I'm already touching where I live, like I could easily just like step inside my door, but I don't. So he starts pulling me out of like my front entrance area of my apartment building onto the porch. And that's when you see like, at this point, I'm already yelling and I'm like, hey, I live here. Like, I was just on my porch. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, you're under arrest. Like, you're going to jail. And I'm like, for what? Like, I have literally been standing on my porch the entire time. Like, I'm still like resisting at this point. So immediately, and I'm like screaming because I'm like, maybe even they might see something out the window and be like, oh, somebody must have done something. Like, I'm just going to go back inside, brush it off like nothing happened. And so I'm just like, if I don't start screaming and get somebody to get like my neighbors to look out the window to see what's happening right now, like I'm going to jail or they're going to freaking beat me up. I don't know. I mean, I saw what they were doing to all the protesters that I was at the protest for, like they could have done anything. I mean, I saw like later in the middle of the video when they have us in cuffs, you see the one guy getting ready to mace the guy sitting on his ass. Like, what is he doing? His hands are behind his back. That's not necessary. So just things like that, like already were ingrained in my mind where I'm like, if I don't start yelling, we're all screwed. So I start screaming and then like my two upstairs neighbors, and they're in different apartments. So they both look out the window and start recording. Thank God that they did, because those videos are going to save my life in the future, probably, I feel like, because I'm pressing charges. So I've already started to talk to a lawyer about it.
So they just yanked you up and then
for no reason. Yep. And then as I'm like on my stomach, screaming, kicking, the one guy is like has his knee on my back and like he's like inching it closer towards like my shoulders and like the top of my like the back of my neck. And
this is a grown man.
No, this is a grown man, like a man that's like, he was probably like 6'3", 6'4", like pretty built, bald head. Like you can see him in one of the videos. Like he's like the taller guy, but like a skinhead, honestly. And so I end up moving so that I end up somehow putting myself in the fetal position on my side, and then they have to like essentially start all over. And then another guy comes over And then they have another guy on my leg, so I can't move anymore. And I'm still just like screaming and screaming. And then eventually they get me to stand up, and they're like walking me down my porch steps. So you see that in the video that's online, the Facebook one. You can see that in the video. That's still our property. That the porch is our, that's within our yard line. Then they have me standing out on the slab of cement for a while, which is still in our yard technically. And then they walk me out on the sidewalk. At that point, they start asking me my name, and they're just like, "What's your name?" And I'm just like, "I'm not telling you my name." I was like, "For what?" I'm like, "I didn't do anything." I was like, "I'm not giving you my name." And they're just like, "Well, if you don't give us your name, you're gonna be staying in jail until you do." And I'm like, "Okay." It was like, "I'm not giving you my name." And then they're just like, "Would you have any ID on you?" And I'm like, "No." And they're just like, "Why don't you have an ID on you?" I'm like, "Because I live here. Why would I need to carry a wallet if I live here? Like, why would I need any of that?" And they're just like, "Well, where are your keys? How are you going to get back in?" And I'm just like, again, I live here. You rolled past us and saw that the door was propped open. Like, when nothing changed in that time besides when he went in to grab me and then the door shut behind him. Like, that's it. So then they start trying to get me to tell them my name. I don't tell them my name. Eventually I tell them my first name, but I don't tell them like my last name or anything. I mean, I realized they could still find me if they really wanted to, but I just was like, no, if I don't say it, it doesn't really count. So, because I just didn't want them to be able to like come back and identify me, which that didn't matter anyways, because apparently they were keeping an eye on me. They told me after that.
Wait, so they've been watching you the whole time there?
Yeah, I changed my work schedule so that I don't go out at night anymore, because they threatened to send me to jail if I'm out past curfew.
What?
Yeah, they said that. Yeah, and I'm like, for what? Like, for exercising my Fourth Amendment right to protect my property? Like, you can't do that.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, if I was, a random white guy on the street with an AK-47 holding down a fucking business, they wouldn't have said shit.
That's because you see
all the photos of them everywhere,
loaded up and ready to go,
and they don't do anything because they're hired. And I'm like, how is what I was doing any different? I had a flashlight and a phone. What? And what am I gonna do with that? I mean, I had other people with me, but I had a flashlight and a phone.
So
what am I gonna do with that?
What's going on moving forward now, like for you, like with that?
So eventually, like after they let me go, I mean, I was in those cuffs forever. I had bruises on my wrist after they took me out of there because, they had me in them for so long, trying to tell me that I was on the sidewalk. That was their reason for arresting me, which was complete BS. I was not on the sidewalk because I knew the rules. So I knew not to get myself caught in a position where anybody could fuck with me, essentially.
And you were protecting your home because there was looters and there was unidentified vehicles.
Yeah. Like earlier that day, this guy ran up the back of our porch and was potentially trying to either break in or start a fire. We don't know. And then because we saw on the Nextdoor app, which is like a community app, like my friend sent me a picture like 2 days after that, same person that a couple people had written about of this guy trying to break their house. And like I saw that same person earlier that day. He also was carrying a gun. So I mean, like I have reason for concern. Like I was sitting outside for a reason. After they let me go, they said that they had 6 different like individual units watching me, and if I was out past curfew, I was going to jail. So obviously that scared the living shit out of me, and like that still scares me, even though we don't have a curfew right now, and like a lot, like the amount of presence has like diminished. It's not, it's not gone by any means. Like there's still a lot of activity, I feel like, with cops. And
Are you still seeing those
everything.
unidentified vehicles and people and stuff around?
Some, but I feel like a lot less. There's a few I've seen that just like have been sitting there and they haven't moved. So I feel like maybe people left them. Because there's this one that I specifically have been going past so many times already over the last week, and the car hasn't moved, but it has brand new plates, and I'm just like, okay, well, I don't know why, like, how this car just hasn't moved from this exact spot over a week.
Wow, man.
But
Well, I'm glad you actually were. At least you didn't have to like go to jail or nothing.
yeah,
That craziness.
no, I know. The crazy thing was, I hadn't even watched the entire video because watching it for those first few days, like just even seeing it, like that shit was traumatizing. Like I was like, I can't even. I don't want to talk
the
about
video
it.
of you getting
Yeah,
locked up?
yeah. I was like, I don't want to watch it. Like that was fucked up. Like eventually, I watched the whole thing though. Like after I went inside, and I didn't realize that like all my neighbors go out on the porch while the cops are still out there, and the cops don't do anything to them. I also see in the video my one neighbor actually walks up on the sidewalk, like out of nowhere, and they didn't put him in cuffs. And he was standing there around the same time that we were. And I'm just like, what why? Like,
so they chose you and not your neighbor, basically.
Yeah.
It's
and I'm just like, this is a white boy over here, and then there's me.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
that's
cool.
crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, since they charged the other four, like the amount of like police presence has gone down. That like at least I've noticed, like I haven't seen like, rows and rows of cop cars driving like I was like where you'd see like 25 at a time. Like it'd be like 20, like you'd have like 10 cops with like 8 National Guard giant trucks. Like you got the tankers rolling down the street, like just out the front of your house 24/7. Like it was weird seeing that, like especially seeing them watch you. So disturbing, like because they just all look so sinister. They like, and you just don't trust them. That has gone down, so you don't see that many people like that doing that anymore. I haven't really seen as many like people that I feel like don't belong. Now it's a lot more, I would call them brown nosers, that are just coming from out in the sticks to Minneapolis to see all the chaos and destruction that's happened to their city, and like people posing in front of it to take like pictures, and I'm like, this is weird.
Wow.
Like that's the weirdest thing to see now, is like when you see like a dad go tell his like 12-year-old kid from like, I don't even know, Edina, like go stand in front of the burned precinct, go take a photo. Like what?
This
so
is
like
history.
Go. But it's just so weird to like, because these are the same people that are complaining about the city being burned down that they don't live in.
That
so
caused
it's like
a lot of the police
yeah,
to come in.
where they just obvious, they don't understand even why these things that happened. Like they're the same people that are like I agree with the cause, but like I wish that they wouldn't do this, or like blah, where they don't really, they're just saying that because they don't want to come off a certain way.
I don't know how you guys feel, but I had a question: is do you feel any positivity possibly that come from this? Because it seems like even it's a lot of craziness. There's a lot of negative. There's a lot of craziness, but I'm just wondering.
I mean, I think that Minneapolis has become like more community driven than ever because of this. Like it's brought out so many like different like organizations that have started to be able to like feed the different like areas of the community. Like I've been volunteering at this one that a few friends of mine started.
What's it called?
Like Twin Cities Togetherness. So a friend of mine started it. It's based out of North Minneapolis. We deliver hot meals that we get donations to make these hot meals for people. to St. Paul and Minneapolis and just different areas around there. So I think today we did like 46 separate deliveries of like some of the orders were like up to 15 pieces.
Wow.
So I mean we're like, and these are just from people donating the things to be able to get these things out there. Because I mean a lot of people can't either afford to make food right now, don't have the option or the means to get to these locations that are open because some of them were destroyed during that time. So like they're just we have and it's free, so like they don't have to pay for these meals, like they're completely free from the community, which is really awesome.
How do people get in touch with that if they wanted to help out or donate?
I know that if you go to here, I can actually look it up really quick, because I know that if you donate to the Venmo, then they can use those donations to buy more products. And so yeah, if you just for Venmo, it would literally just be oh, there it is. Sorry. They have so many different things going on here.
Or like, what's the website, or what's like the Instagram?
It's here.
Like there we go. Twin Cities Togetherness. Cool.
That's how it looks. There's more information. They have like a few posts that just post more information and where you can send like money to if you wanted to donate, which is really cool. And right now I think they're doing it Tuesday through Fridays. So yeah. And every day is something different. Like, I mean, they've had like one day they had like meatloaf. I think they had like some type of quiche today. There's always vegan meals too, or vegetarian. So they always have options for people. We also do like gluten-free, if you have gluten-free problem. They have diabetic ones. So yeah, they, helping out everybody that needs something.
I have a question. What is Minneapolis like on a normal Memorial Day? Like excluding all this stuff that happened.
Fireworks in all the different cities and suburbs around the area, people outside grilling, people on their boats, probably if they have a boat, like everybody's pretty much outside if they're able to be outside, like somewhere that they can usually watch fireworks or partying with their friends somewhere. Usually just like, I feel like that's, if I had the time, normally that's what I would be doing, is at least like hanging out with friends for a little while.
Okay. Because I met you in 2012 at Smokers Club tour with Cassius.
Yeah.
And when you took us around the city, it seemed really like liberal. It seemed cool, kind of like Denver or Seattle.
Yeah. No, Denver and Minneapolis are very similar. As far as like the vibes that you get from them, except
it just didn't seem that racist, like the vibe of it. I've been to everywhere in the United States, and it didn't. Minneapolis seemed cool, so it was kind of interesting that everything sparked up in that city.
I think honestly, I've talked to a few people about this, and it was just like, everybody I feel like felt like Minneapolis is so passive aggressive that like it, like we protested before for other people that have been killed, by police, like all over the world, like United States, not just like here. And I feel like it got to the point where like there was so much evidence that if they did anything but charge these people, like it would be a slap in the face.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I feel like Minneapolis just couldn't stay quiet any longer. Like, people only stay passive aggressive for so long before they snap. So
I could dig it.
Yeah. We're like the quiet people. Like I wouldn't even say I'm from Minnesota. I'm from Germany and California. I've been living here for 10 years, so I will claim here for now, but I'm not as passive aggressive as everybody else is here. So
yeah. You said you're from California?
Well, I say that because the first place I lived in the United States was California, and I lived I lived in Santa Clara. So
that's rare.
Yup. All the way up
Germany.
by.
You said Germany. And
yes.
California? Okay.
Yes, Germany, California, Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well, Marshall, you have anything else before we get up out of here, man?
No, not really, man.
Yeah, man. Well, Tiffany, I appreciate your story, man. Reem, you got any
Yes.
final words too? My bad. Before we get up out of here.
In comparison to, I guess all the places that you live, which one was your favorite?
Germany, for sure. I don't even know why I'm thinking about it. Like, Germany that is home forever and always.
Where
if you
in
have
Germany?
Not been. I'm from Bad Kreuznach, so that's like southwest Germany. It's near Frankfurt. If you have not been to Germany, you need to go. I went to Berlin during the Christmas time, just last Christmas, for the first time because I hadn't been to Berlin. I've only stayed in like West Germany.
Yeah,
everybody's got to go there. Like it's a transplant city, so you're gonna run into everybody from everywhere. And
I'm down to go.
I heard Berlin is like the party city of Germany.
Oh, that too. I mean, it's kind of like, I guess it's a little bit like New York. It has New York vibes. That's what I got when I was there. Except for maybe more like it's New York vibes mixed with Chicago.
That's cool. I like that. I've been to Frankfurt. It was cool. Yeah. I was younger. I went to Frankfurt, but I loved like the clarity of like the air. It's kind of like Oregon, all the trees and stuff like that. But I need to go to Berlin for the show. Huh?
Were you playing football? Were you playing football, soccer out there?
When I went?
Yeah. Is that why you were out there? Was that when you were?
My sister used to have a boyfriend that was full German. When she went to when she went to get her master's in Amsterdam, I guess she met him there, and then his parents owned the airline. Have you heard of Lufthansa, Tiffany?
Yeah, I flew on that once.
Yeah, they own that airline. So me and my mom had went out there when I was in high school, and it was fun. I liked it. Like it was definitely different, but I liked it. It didn't feel really racist. It felt white, but it didn't really feel racist.
That's what's up, man. Well, Tiffany, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. Honestly, man, sure. Your story was very powerful. I really just wanted you to be able to use this platform to talk because I was so shocked by the story because I seen it because this happened like a week ago, right? Was it like a week ago this happened? Or 2 weeks ago? It
was a little over a week ago. It was last week on Monday.
Yeah. So when I seen that, I was like, oh yeah, you got to come on the show, man, and talk about this because that was crazy, man. And I don't want your story to get smeared or this could be a focal point. Like, nah, hold up.
Yeah.
You said was it. So I appreciate you. And for all your podcast needs, audio and visual, go to productiveculture.com/podcast and how did you hear about us section, put in Artgoon Radio. For all your clothes, accessories, UTBlifestyle.store, UTBlifestyle.store. We got some new stuff in there coming in hot.
No, not till July. That's when summer will drop.
Okay. So yeah,
but everything there is basically sold out. Got a couple pairs of jeans. That's about it.
Hey man, them jeans is hard. So you go ahead and get you a pair. If you gonna go on there,
go ahead, go cop them up. Got a few more left.
I feel you, man. Hey, Marshall, I know you were doing like a lot of protests and charities. Do you have anything you want to shout out during this time where people can
tap in, man? Newtown Task Force shirts come in this Friday. I'm gonna have pre-orders from Friday till Juneteenth, and all the proceeds will be going to Black Lives Matter, IE, and towards production. So $20 shirts are gonna be $30. Donating $20 from every shirt to Black Lives Matter, IE. So our goal is to sell 150 shirts and get them $3,000.
You can put me down for one for sure. You know that.
Got you. So I'll have links for everybody this Friday. We'll be selling them on 2 websites.
So by the time this episode drops, it'll be you can get a shirt. By the time this is dropping,
you'll be able to get a shirt.
You'll be able to get a shirt. And, so where's the website?
I'll have the website up.
Okay.
Text it to you, put on this part of the podcast when we upload it or whatever.
Yeah, well, I'll put it on the website. We'll put it on the Big Cali World website. I'll tell Jen.
Okay, cool. And then, yeah, man, it's gonna be dope because I'm collabing with a lot of local brands, man. So, little mobile tee for the cause, man. So we're trying to do something special. So.
And you know it's gonna be fly.
It's gonna be real fire, man. I will show y'all the artwork right now, but I ain't gonna premiere that just yet.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Keep it a secret.
But, yeah.
So, are you doing
Friday.
some dyeing this weekend, Marshall?
Nah, but if you wanna, actually, man, so I graduate on Thursday, bro. Tomorrow and Friday.
Wait,
yeah, bro.
Whoa, congratulations!
Thank you. I've been so caught up in doing like finals and midterms and stuff, bro.
Throwing that in there casually.
It don't feel real good.
Congrats.
Thank you. So I got to go back in the fall to take stat, and then I'm transferring out of that thing. So.
What do you
get it?
Go ahead.
What's your degree in? What are you graduating?
So I'm getting I'm gonna have like 5 different AAs, but I'm transferring for communication.
Nice.
So go and then hopefully I'll go to transfer to Cal State San Bernardino or Cal State Fullerton, and then I'll be attending there in the spring. Take a little break, get some time off. Get
my dad's
pulling up.
My dad's from San Bernardino. That's where he was.
Oh, there's the late.
Yeah. That's how I ended up in California to begin with, because he's from California.
Wait, your dad's from Bernardino?
Yeah, my dad's from San Bernardino.
Wow.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's ties, man. They global.
Yeah.
That's lit. So wait a minute. So you lived in Germany, or were you born in Germany?
I was born in Germany, and then I lived there for a few years, and then moved.
So your dad went from Nadino and met your mom in Germany?
Yes, because he was in the army. So it was an army love story.
I like it. I like it. I like it, man. All right, but also for this podcast, go to bigcaliworld.com. Also, we're gonna put the link for the what's it called one more time, Marshall? I'm sorry, I don't want to mess it up.
Our Town Task Force.
Yeah, the
shirts.
Town Task Force shirts.
Don't shoot
get them. Yeah, you're gonna get them for $30 on the bigcaliworld.com. I'm gonna put the link up, or you can go to his Instagram, Marshall No Money, and you'll see it right there in the URL. All right. But yeah, I think I plugged everybody. I think I said everything. And yeah, man. Another one we're gonna put this out. We're gonna do another one next week. We're gonna come back to back when you're stopping. Hopefully we'll be in the studio soon. Get back to normal. Get over this quarantine wave. Still staying safe, still practicing social distancing. Tiffany, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And be safe out there, and keep in touch with us, man, for real. And hit us next time you come back home.
I plan to come in like September because I'm turning 30, so I gotta do
it. Hell yeah, hit us up.
Turn up.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
All right, y'all.